Okay, so let me bring up the watch list. Pretty simple here. Just going to go over some short things that we have for the week of March 12th. And so, okay. Miscalculation on my end. I actually have to add that into the watch list. I actually messed one up. But we are going to go into SPY here. And you can see that chart that I have in the watch list is actually incorrect. And we have to, I have to fix that error. But you can see we have two long, long wicks down here, kind of hitting into this trend line down here that I drew and going across. You can see how it played out, whether it, closed at it or wicked and then opened at it down there. And then I kind of drew this crazy little setup here. You could obviously see the trend line going down. That's been pretty, specific and, shows that right there. This one right here, I kind of drew because I saw support, building here. This one we closed under it, but we closed at this line. And you can see we went under, tested these two lines again, and then closed even over both of these two lines. So this line and this line. So we could see where that sets us up. And what I truly think is, I'm truly not sure if the bottom is in yet again. I think they could test it lower. I think they could definitely test it into this 363 range, which brings us into that 3663 that I've been talking about. Um, for ES, it'd be 3654 to 3663. So that's another, from where we are right now, that's 200 points down, around 180 to 190 points down from where we are currently. We had a strong gap up about an hour and 20 minutes ago when the markets opened, when the futures opened, sorry. And ever since that 38.63, 38.67, we literally faded into this 38.40. Want to see if this holds. If not, we could possibly fade this whole entire move. And that's where I'm really not sure if the true bottom is in yet. It's possible we get a 1 to 2, bounce day. For example, we could have something like this. We have that doji right here, that basically reversal candle. We had a move day, and then we basically took up all that move in the day after that. So we could be getting the same type of setup, forming here. I know we already have a big green here, but we could get another one getting into the 38, 70 range, 3080 range, and then dipping down. Now, getting over 3900 would be interesting, and getting over like 3907, 3913 would be interesting. And that could probably negate the possibility of going a little bit lower at the moment. But we have to keep, all these scenarios in the back of our heads, basically. And let me bring this up. So that's my thoughts on this. I basically go over this right here. And now we're going to go into the beloved stock of FLNT as usual. This is going to be on my watch list every week until we hit my price targets of 15 to 20 by the end of the year. And one thing that I definitely see here is, I really don't know how much more downside we have in this name. If the markets dip, obviously this will follow. But, I really don't see this going under $5. And, the max right here is like that 480, 490 range. And if it does, we'll be ready. We'll take advantage of it and we'll buy it up. You could see this is the biggest, red volume day in a long time. And on that red volume day, most of it was, well, I can't say most of it was buyers. Let me just pull up a raindrop and see what we can see there. Hold on one second. You could see a lot of it was in the actual upper half. So a lot of the volume was traded in that 8 range, in that 770 range. So, I could give it that the buyers were more in control, even though we ended red. So I could say it's more buyer volume, that we had all this volume up here in this range. But as you could see, we're selling off on much lower volume. And, that's a good thing. So, like I said, the lowest we go is 480 to $5. So we hit 530 the other day. So we basically touched that area. I think it was like 520 something on Friday. But after this earnings is done within this next week or so, I believe the latest date they have for the earnings is by next Friday. Um, so should be all set on there. And here's what my thoughts were on it going into this earnings is basically we either just did the dip as we have right here, and we're going to rip and gap over the earnings. So when the earnings is released, we gap up and get a move going there, or we do they basically eat the shares here like they have been, drop a lower, eat shares and accumulate shares down in these levels, and they try to push us up a little bit or stay a little flat into earnings, and then they gap us down again into that 5 and 530 range, and eat up more shares, and that's the basically a gap down and a dip and a rip over the next couple of months. Those are two scenarios there. I truly do not see this one basically dying out here. Like I said, this is one of my most highly convicted plays of 2021, so that's not that's a mistake right there, but this is one of my most highly convicted plays of 2021, and I just don't see this not closing the year over $15 to $20. And here's that rounding bottom, and on a 2-year scale you can see it's perfect here. We got a strong cup, and we could be building the handle here over the next week or two, and then breaking out much higher into the nines, breaking out much higher into the 11 to 12 range, and then 15 to 20. So just really want to wait for the earnings to truly fully finish adding into my position there. Like I said, I kept this watch list short, and I'm keeping some stronger names in this watch list. I know Flint hasn't really been strong, but I'm keeping that because we are always in it. And let's see. So LYV. Now, this name has been truly very strong in the markets lately. The market started to dip right here. Where is it? February 16th, I believe. And since then, the markets have went down, 150 points, 200 points at the most, 250 points at the most. And you could see from that 85 range, we went up and we've hit 95. And now we're just sitting here. Had a nice hammer off this bottom, possibly ascending wedge here, mini ascending wedge that is. And, breaking over this ascending triangle, sorry, and breaking over this 95 level would put us into the 100 range. And, this has been a strong name even during the red markets lately. So it's definitely one to keep on watch. So now we're going to go into the next name that we have, another long term in PLTR. And I really love this name here for the long term. And, getting into these ranges here, it's a great buy at 21 and 22. And if it hits 18, I'd even be a buyer too. Now, getting under like $16 is where I'd be a little cautious. But I truly think, I've started positions in this 20 range, and I'll be holding this for long term, probably over 6 to 12 months, and looking for a move over that timeline, getting at least over 45, 50. I think in the next, possibly 2 to 3 months, we can get over 35. So that'll be a good payout right there, just getting up 10 to $15. So we will watch this one, and we will be looking to add here with that strong hammer candle. And they just had news aftermarket on Friday, teaming up with AWS, so Amazon's web services team. And that's something to look into too. They have a lot of government contracts, they have a lot of deals in general, and this is a good growth play into the future in my opinion. So I do have a couple more on the top of my head, such as Fubo. And this is another name that we definitely have to look into. And the reason why, I really like this name is they're in the streaming industry. So look at Roku, look at Netflix. you know, just two big names out there right now. And now you look at their other side of their business in the sports industry, Penn, PENN, DraftKings, DKNG, and I really think this could be a very interesting long term play, especially in this 20 to 30 range, and even in the low 30s. Starting to acquire shares in this area, and you could see a lot of volume support down here. This trend line support. If you can get in this 27 to 32 range, I think that would be a good area for the long term. And that's where I'd probably look to start a position. And we do have a position in this for long term, I think 1 to 2 year calls on this name. So definitely look into that. Going into NIO, these two weren't on the watch list, but I am just going to go over them. Now, this is another name. So you have them possibly looking into joining into the US market over a period of time. I think they talked about this. And that's, very interesting, because then they have another avenue, another country where they could sell their products, sell their cars, and increase revenue, increase possible earnings per share, and basically just get their name out there. So that's interesting. And, they are basically the Chinese Tesla. So if you just look at where Tesla went, going from 100 to 1800, then splitting, then going $600 more from 300 to 900, it's just crazy. I really think this name could be a big future play as well. And you just need to, buy it in the right areas. Truly this 35 area isn't bad. Isn't bad. You can get it back here. I think anything in the 30s is pretty reasonable for long term. It's already taking a basically 40 to 50% cut in the past 2 months, hitting a high of 66. So it's taken like actually a 35 to 40% cut. And, you could definitely look at a long term play here and see how that plays out. PUBM, this runs into the field of APPS, FLNT, MGNI, TTD, and this one here as well. Strong setup here. Let's see. And I just drew that there because it's a possible trend line here. And this is a strong name that could possibly grow, tenfold too. TTD, no one expected it to go from, $80 to $1,000. And look at this name, possible same thing here, a strong megaphone here that could possibly be forming, which, we hit that bottom here on Friday, and we could be getting a move back up into the 80 range soon. So we have to keep this one on watch too. Let me just draw a resistance here. So this is another name that I'd like to keep on the long-term list. Other than that, I just wanted to let everyone know that I am holding a sale. BullTradeFinder is having a 40% off sale just for this one day. So if you would like to sign up, for anyone who hasn't yet, the code is 40 capital O, capital F, capital F. So 40 off, all in capitals. And it's just going to be for this one day that sale is available. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we are upgrading some things in the room. We changed up the memberships a bit to better basically support our members in whichever avenue they wish to go, as well as adding new features in the near future. So just wanted to give that out and, basically put it out there. Other than that, I'll have this video uploaded for everyone so they could overlook it. If you guys have any requests, just send me a message and I'll try to get over them. And other than that, have a great night. Have a safe week, and let's trade. Just got to be cautious in these markets. That's all. Have a great night, everyone.